Hi and welcome to part 2 of my What I Carried With Me to Mount Kenya series. If you haven't watched the first video, please click on the link above, or I'll maybe leave one in the comments as well, and watch what clothes I carried with me to the mountain. Two of the most important things that you will need on your trip to Mount Kenya is your backpacks. You're going to have two of them. The first one is your porter's bag, and this is the bag that you'll put everything that you don't use when you're hiking in the daytime. And basically you pack your bag in the morning and then the porters go with it, and you won't see it again until nighttime because the porters get there really fast. So this is a 70-liter bag, and that seems to be about an average size. Was it the right size? It was, if my sleeping bag was a little bit smaller, but my sleeping bag was huge. I ended up having to tie my sleeping bag on the outside of my bag. The next bag I had was my day bag. This is a 30-liter, and for me that works really well. Check that your bag comes with a rain cover. Some bags come with a rain cover attached, but if they don't, then I would definitely recommend buying one, because you want to try and keep your bag and its contents as dry as possible. One of the most important things you'll need with you on this trip is your sleeping bag. Temperatures at night can range anywhere from -5 degrees to -15 degrees, depending on the season that you're hiking in. So you want to make sure that you get a really warm rated sleeping bag. So this is my sleeping bag, and it's massive. I mean, it's so big and so thick because it's synthetic. So it was very affordable, and it's really warm. It's comfort rating of -12 degrees, really thick. Because it's so big and so thick, it doesn't compress well because it's synthetic. Luckily, it also came with its own compression sack. So this is something that I really recommend looking for if you are buying a sleeping bag, because you want to make it as small as you possibly can when you're putting it into your bag to save on space. Another thing I carried with me was a sleeping bag liner. This was a recommended but optional item in our list. This one adds, I don't remember how many degrees it says, but combined with my sleeping bag, I found I was really nice and warm at night. It also helps keep your sleeping bag clean, so I would definitely carry this again. Another thing that I carried with me was an inflatable pillow. This one has a strap which attaches to your sleeping pad so that it doesn't escape at night. I like sleeping with a pillow when I'm hiking or camping, but it's completely optional. I also carried with me 3 sleeping mats, which is definitely excessive, but I had a reason. So sleeping pads have a temperature rating in the same way that sleeping bags do, and it goes from 1 to 7. It's called an R value. So this one is 5.7, which is very warm, but it is not very comfortable for me. I'm a side sleeper. This one is really comfortable, but it's rated 1.6, so it's not very warm. But I decided to combine them both so I would have a warm and comfortable night's sleep. I also added this foam mat, and this one is from Decathlon, and it is rated 2.5. Was it strictly necessary? I'm going to say no, but our tent got really dirty as the days went on, and it even leaked on one night. So I found that this helped me to keep my sleeping system clean and dry. Would I carry the whole system again? I would. Mostly because I was so warm and so comfortable, I wouldn't wanted to have sacrificed that. One thing I should note is that a lot of people told me to carry a yoga mat, and that would work fine if that's all you have, but yoga mats don't offer a lot of comfort or insulation, and your sleeping bag works optimally when paired with a good mat. So you can have the warmest sleeping bag in the world, but if you don't have a good sleeping mat, you're gonna be cold anyway. The company I was traveling with also offered to provide sleeping mats for anybody who didn't have any, but it turned out to just be a thin piece of foam. So if you're traveling with a company, I would definitely ask them if they have sleeping mats and what their sleeping mats look like so that you can make an informed decision. For hydration, I carried a 2-liter hydration bladder and a 1-liter bottle of water. I kind of wish I'd carried a 3-liter bladder because it's much easier to drink on the go from a bladder than it is from a bottle. And once I would finish my hydration bladder water, I found that I wasn't as good at drinking water from the bottle, and staying hydrated on the mountain is so important because that's actually what helps you with altitude sickness. So I think next time I'll definitely carry a 3-liter bladder. The water bottle was fantastic to use because I would use it to fill up my bladder from streams. I would put electrolytes in it. This particular bottle, you can put hot water in it and use it as a hot water bottle, which incidentally I did not carry, even though it was recommended on one of the things that was recommended to us to carry, but I didn't find I needed it because I was very warm. However, for anybody else considering a hot water bottle, I saw that my tent mate found it invaluable. The bottle was also really helpful because on summit night, your tube can freeze if it gets really, really cold. So having this water bottle still gives you water to drink. Speaking of electrolytes, I didn't carry the entire tube. I just put 4 in a small container like this, and I had 1 for each day. I also carried a few water purification tablets to purify the water that we were collecting from the streams on our day hikes. To keep my stuff dry and organized so that I could find it easily and protect it, I carried a number of dry bags, which are basically just waterproof bags. So I had a big one for my porter's bag. I had a medium one for my day bag. I had this one for my sleeping bag. And then these had clothes and snacks and toiletries in them. I could probably have reduced the number of these. I don't think I really needed all of these, but it did help to keep me organized. I also had 3 bin liners. You want to get the big industrial ones, the heavy duty ones. And I used one to line my porter's bag. So my porter's bag was double lined, which was definitely excessive, but I wanted to make sure that my stuff stayed dry because nothing dries on the mountain. I also had one for my dirty clothes and another one which I put my sleeping bag in to keep that dry also. For hiking accessories, I carried a headlamp. This is extremely, extremely important. Some nights we ended up getting to camp after dark, but on summit night especially, you leave in the middle of the night to make your summit push. So you need to have a headlamp to see your way, and you also should carry some spare batteries. I also carried a pair of sunglasses. If you can get a good pair, category 3 or 4, and polarized if possible. It was snowing the day we were summiting and there was no sun. So it didn't feel like you needed to wear sunglasses, but a number of people got sun blindness because they didn't wear them. I also carried micro spikes. These were not on the list, but I found them completely invaluable. It snowed heavily when we were summiting, and I don't think I'd have got as far as I would if I didn't have these. I also carried 2 trekking poles. I like to have 2 for downhill because my knees are not great. I carried a small first aid kit with me for some things I thought I may need during the day, just things like plasters and painkillers. I also had a small emergency kit which has batteries for my headlamp, a lighter, some tape to repair my gear, an emergency blanket, and hand warmers. I also had compression socks, an ankle support, and some knee supports. I didn't end up using any of these. I'll probably still carry them, except maybe the compression socks. So to start off my toiletries, I have here my poop kit, which is basically anything that I think that I will need if I'm going to the toilet in the daytime on my day hike. So this just stays in my day pack. This is a trowel to bury any waste, because honestly, you go on a hike and there's like toilet paper and poop and it's so disgusting. So just as much as possible, try to leave no trace and bury your waste. I have here like toilet paper, pads, menstrual cup, wipes, and a bag to dispose my pads. Don't throw your pads on the mountain, people. They take like 800 years to dispose. Pack them up and carry them with you and throw them when you get down. I have here just this small squeezy bottle, which I use to clean my female urinary device. And this is the bag that it comes with. And then I have a cooler cloth. I also had a few bits and bobs in my day bag. My inhaler, very important if you have asthma. Sunblock, this was for my face. This was for my body. Lip balm, SPF, if possible. I think actually quite important. A small Aramis, because I didn't want to carry a big one. Aramis is super great, even if you have sunblock. You need something for wind burn because the wind can be super kali up there. And just pocket tissues because nose blowing. I also carried a slightly larger medical kit. This is just stuff that you have extra of that you're not going to use during the day. So this was just in my porter's bag. And I carried hand warmers. I also carried one large roll of toilet paper. I just took the cardboard out and then squished it so that it's easier for transporting. A travel toothbrush and a small toothpaste. A nail brush because your nails will be disgusting on that mountain. I don't understand why. I was scrubbing my nails all the time and literally minutes later they'll just be black. So gross. Nail brush is very important. Deodorant and a small face cream. I had wipes because there's no butts on the mountain, so wipes are so important for keeping clean. I use these for my face and my body. I had 2 hand sanitizers. One went in my day pack and one went in my porter's bag. And again, your hands, they're just gross the whole time. So those were really important. I had a small towel, and this is a microfiber towel, really small. I didn't think I was going to use this, but actually I didn't use it on myself. I used it to dry a lot of my kit, like my rain jacket if it was really, really wet or whatever it is. I use that. So very, very handy for me. a large Aramis to top up my small one, and whatever menstrual products you think you're going to need, because again, periods are so unpredictable on the mountain, so it's better to just carry something. So for snacks, I obviously don't have the snacks that I carried with me on the mountain, but I like to carry sweet and savory snacks. So I had pretzels and mini salami, and then I had tiny chocolate bars and dried mango. And I carried a lot. I planned one sort of snack pack per day because I really don't like to be hungry and I like to snack. But I just found I didn't snack that much. First of all, they give you lots of food on the mountain. They feed you really well, but you're also just not that hungry. And everybody had told me you're not going to be that hungry, but I thought, oh, I'm going to eat them anyway. But I still ended up having a lot of snacks left over at the end. And finally, I carried some money and my ID with me. ID because you need it to get into the national park, and money in case you want to tip the porters or the guides. Money is really useful so you don't have to send M-Pesa. For electronics, I carried my phone, which is what I'm recording with, my watch, charging cables for both of them, and a power bank. Now this is a 10,000 milliamp, but I actually carried a 20,000 milliamp on the trip, and I just had it in my porter's bag, and that was more than sufficient for me. So that's the end of this video. I hope you found it informative. If you have any questions, leave them down in the comments below and I will respond as soon as I can. And thank you so much for watching.